Welcome back to the Bass Blaster Audio Tech YouTube channel, and in this video we're going to do a bit of exploring and experimenting some ideas. I have these I don't know how you say this, teiNuro, these 2.1 speakers, which are massively popular. They were sold by Parts Express 5 or 6 years ago for, nothing, right? I've had them for years. I love the sound of them. I wish the sub had a little more power. Not a lot more. I get this thing isn't going to, rattle the walls, but these dual 3s definitely have a little bit more in them. So, I was all of last night with my scope here and my light that really isn't helping matters out. Now, I have an idea to swap out the amplifier. Now, give me a second here. What I'm going to swap the amplifier out with, I'd like to use this STA540. Little hint, this is the same chip that Logitech uses in their Z313. I think it's Z313. I'll put it on screen if I'm wrong. This chip, I'm not going to go through all the specs because honestly there's quite a lot of them. However, whoops, don't mind me, that's the wrong page. This is how I'm going to run it. The stereo bridge, I'm going to have our left and right, and our subwoofer, and I think I'm going to run here at 16 volts, so I get 2x8 and then 16 by 1. I'll come back to that 16 by 1 at 8. Years ago, when I was a little less experienced, I did a teardown of this just for myself to look at it. I've already done this, so here's how this amplifier works. You have two TEA-2025B amplifiers. Alright, here it is. It's long, I wouldn't say long. This chip was discontinued 5 or 6 years ago. I have a couple of these in my parts bin that I pull, and this is one of my favorite ICs. Where's it at? Alright, how this works is we have two chips. This one is operating in stereo. This thing runs on 13 volts, unloaded, drops about 11.5. Already tested it. If you're wondering, here's the transform. It's 8 volts, AC, 1.6 amps. Not bad, not bad. Just the right size for this. This IC, they're both 2025s. This one's in stereo for 4 ohms. So according to the datasheet, stereo at 4 ohms we should get. The datasheet, the highest it goes is a 9 volts 4 ohm stereo, you get 2.3 watts. However, this is running at 12, 13. So let's just go ahead and say we might be able to get 3 watts. We're going to be pushing the heat dissipation at that point. Let's just go and say we're running 3 watts by 2, which is actually what it's rated for. The subwoofer, which is this one, is bridged in 8 ohms. When I was in this years ago for my own little thing, I taped a second port tube to this. It is tight, it's solid, and it doesn't leak. This thing is tuned to like 35 hertz, and it plays 35 hertz very well. I don't know how well we can see it. Each of these speakers are 4 ohms, 10 watts. Pretty meaty speakers, not too bad, not too bad. Wire to them is 22 gauge, also not bad. They're in series for 8 ohms. Now we go back to our data sheet. Bridged, again, only goes to 9. 8 ohms, we get 4.7 watts. So again, we're probably running closer to 5.5 to 6 at 12. So this heatsink does focus. They do get pretty warm. I mean, they're not hot. They're about 2 inches tall. They're, of course, thermal gooped. They get warm, but it's not hot enough to burn you. Now you guys are like me and like to fool around with this stuff. No, you can't just slap a new chip in and call it a day. These things are usually made to a price, which is good for the manufacturer. The only thing is it usually means everything is on one board. Then you have to run jumper wires everywhere if you really want to like retro mod something. Well, again, with the good old 138, in a couple hours of time, I figured out how this thing works. And it's actually pretty simple. What I had to do is I had to figure out a couple things. One, what do these potentiometers at the front do? I'm just going to spoil it. They are just potentiometers on a board. There's nothing really up there we need to worry about. And where's the crossover? Again, I spent the time with the scope. This is how it works. You get your 3.5 millimeter here. It comes in, goes through a couple passives, and it goes into this plug right here to the right. That goes into this box. And now this box is this media player, which works. I just never use it. I just use the auxiliary end. It goes into that. And then there's 2 more wires coming out of this box. This one, which is just power. I'll have to come back to that. And this one, which goes to these controls at the front. Now this is when it got a little confusing, but it was actually pretty simple. Coming back from the controls in the front, there's two cables. There's this one here to the left, and this one here to the right. How this works is this one is your highs. See, if I touch under it, you will only hear the highs. It's used significantly. And a radio station. And if we touch this one, the sub. So how this works is, see these little green caps and this whole line of resistors through here? This is actually the crossover. So our highs is a normal high pass, and it is an adjustable crossover. It's like a 6 dB slope. I'm not sure what frequencies, but you can have it either the knob all the way up is flat, just, you know, what comes in comes out. Then you can turn it down and get less treble. Well, this one for the subwoofer is a fixed low pass, but this is a volume. So you can turn the subs all the way down where you wouldn't even know they're there, just like shut them completely off. So what this means is, if you want to put a new chip in here, you're going to have to tap your signal from this board, unless you want to create a whole new crossover. And then, you know, bypass this little box, which wouldn't be that hard. But then you'll have to, you know, mount your RCAs in the back for the speakers, run a hole for your input, mounting tab. Yeah, a bit of effort. So I think what the best thing to do would be, if you want to put a new chip in here, is to remove these two ICs and just stick, you know, like 22 gauge jumper wire into the signal inputs, run to the input of your new board, to run your outputs of the new board onto the holes where the outputs of these would have been. Then you won't worry about it. Or actually, for the subwoofer, you could just plug it into here. Now, coming back to power, this is where things get fun. If I wanted to run this STA540 the way I wanted to, I need 16 volts. Well, 8 volts rectifier is only going to give me 12 to 13 under no load. So I'd have to swap out the transformer. But that's no idea, because on Mauser I can get a 12 volt, 30 volt amp, and it's the same size as this, so it'll just bolt right in. Then just run the power, rectify it, filter it, send to the new chip. All good. There's one issue though. Remember how the input signal goes through this box? This box is an active switch. So if you stick a flash card in it, it kind of, say, it shuts this off and plays your SD card. You pull it out, it switches back to this. So unless you want to do away with this and run your wire going to the board to here, which wouldn't be too hard, just I don't want to do it because I don't like playing with this small wire. Gotta keep this box. However, this box is easy enough to keep, and I'll show you how. What I'll do is I'll run a smaller wire from the new transformer to here, where the factory is. It goes to these 4 diodes and gets filtered by this 2200 16 volt cap. Now, I'll have to put a higher voltage cap in there, that's fine. I got a whole drawer full of like 1000 at 25s, because this is only going to power this. Well, I don't want to put 16 volts in this because I don't know what it's good for. How this is wired is quite fun. How am I going to show this? I need something pointy. Where's something pointy I can use? This right here is our positive to our filter cap. It goes up here, goes to a jumper, goes up to here, and follows to this 3-pin footprint. And it goes through a filter, which is just a bypass cap. Then it goes to our plug. So we flip this over, goes to this plug. U1, this is a voltage regulator that's been jumped. So our input voltage is just going straight to the output. What I'll do is I'll remove the jumper and I'll just put a 12 volt regulator in there, and there we go, problem solved. That way I'll be able to keep this board in, keep this powered up, not kill it, remove the 2 chips, keep them of course, and then just run the wires to our new amplifier. Then we run into another issue. Where am I going to mount the amplifier? Because, well, I can't stick it on the back, there's nowhere to put it. My best get would just be mount to the bottom of the sub box. Maybe the side, probably the bottom. Now, there's not many ready-made designs for the STA540. However, doing a Google search, I was able to find this. Some guy somehow copied the exact same circuit board that the Logitech Z313, I believe, uses. The exact same board, and it's the STA540. Stereo, bridge, and potentiometers on a board with a, I think this is an adjustable crossover. I'm not sure. I don't think it is. Yeah. Anywho, this wasn't going to work because I already have a crossover. So, of course, I made my own board. Double layer for the STA540. There's no filtering. It's just raw input, our AC in, and our outputs. This will work perfectly in here because, again, all we'll have to do is run jumper wire from our input to where our chip used to be. We'll have the AC going right in at the plug, and then I can have a small wire tapping in here so we can keep the switch box active. So it's actually a fairly simple job to do to swap this. Thought maybe I'd show you how you actually get inside of this thing. It's pretty simple. In the four corners you have the real hex head screws. They're not fakes. Unscrew them, and then the whole front just comes off. I've already took the screws out of the driver, and I'll show you the drivers. But here, I'm going to show you the main reason why I want to upgrade the amplifier. I got a song here. It's copyrighted, I'm sure, so I'm going to try not to play a lot of it. It's got a decent bass line. See, I'm not going to turn it up very high. That's clipping from the sub. Not very loud, and it's already clipping. Now, the satellites, we turn the sub. This here, sub's completely off. But our treble control is a crossover. The satellites will blow you out of the room. They don't seem to ever clip. They go a little higher, but my computer master volume's pretty low. Right, so, where did my pointy thing go? Here it is. These speakers are real nice. I like them. The seal, both of them have a foam seal. Alright. I've looked up this YD93-02A and I get nothing for it at all. This may actually be a full range speaker. I don't know, going by the depth of the magnet, I'm going to say it's a purpose-built mid-woofer. That's what this is. But yeah, I do like them. And they're in series. You can kind of see my taped port. Can't really see the amplifier up there, it's too dark. But the heatsink fin does face up, so you don't really have to worry about heat. Ooh, it is fused. You can see the wires. This is just potentiometers on a board. So I'm going to get this thing stuck back together for now, and guess I'll just have to wait till I decide to order the parts. If I still want to do the upgrade, that is. Something else I forgot to mention. I'll have to put a screenshot in editing. There's one more wire on the board I forgot about. That's just a power wire for this LED, which is what I forgot to talk about. Because it's from China, they of course have an obsession with blue. Well, this light is blindingly... It used to be brighter. I've had it covered up with tape for about 3 years. I just took it off last night, and this thing's about half the brightness it used to be. It was ridiculous. But I think this would be a real nice light to replace with something like an amber LED. A soft orange or an amber. I think that'd look real nice. It'd match the speakers, and it wouldn't blind you either.
I got racks on it. You ain't even gotta ask. Shawty cash on it. The way you drop and shake it fast, see that ass on it. Yeah, baby, take it back.